Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment. This video is for any type of student filmmakers, anyone thinking of getting into low budget filmmaking with a Super 8. This is another one of my videos on the Canon Sound 514XL-S. The main issue you're going to have with this camera is that they're sold cheap. So a lot of film students, those are the like with an interest in getting in low budget filmmaking, will jump on it. Okay, they're sold like that because the lubricant back in the day that was put on plastic gears would make the gears soft and crack within about 6 to 8 months. Now, I remember this, and also remember working on VCRs as well, those type of small electronics, and there's a certain type of lubricant that goes on plastic gears not to make them soft and not to make them crack. Another issue is you probably think, well, I can get this camera repaired, but it is a pain in the backside, not only to dismantle but to repair and replace the gears, including other issues. Now I have this one, and it has several problems to point out, and problems that you're going to have with yours most likely. As you look over here at the lower end of my screen, right over here at the end of my pencil eraser, okay, you have the shutter button, and the way it's designed, and after years it always gets gunky. The lubricant inside dries up, gets sticky, and this is what happens. So what you're going to be looking at is you're going to have the whole camera dismantled by a professional and overhauled, and have a, probably forget a CLA, clean lube and adjustment, have it overhauled. All right. The issue is, again, it's just so difficult to get in. It's just a pain in the backside to get in there and do the job. All right. Here's one thing you're going to have an issue with, as far as I'll flip it around, inside goes, with the sound issues. One thing, it takes 6 batteries, which for some filmmakers, for student filmmakers, may be a bit much. And you're going to need Duracell batteries. You're going to need strong, good batteries. All right. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this. There we go. This is the sound area. The reason it took so many batteries is because you have this sound feature down here and all those other operations at the other side of the camera. Okay, so down here, if you press the shutter button at the lower end of the screen, okay, you want to over here watch the pinch roll that's going to jump up. Okay, so now it's going to get stuck today. All right, you can use silent film cartridges. Of course, you have no choice because the sound film has been discontinued long ago. All right, so the next issue you're probably going to have, most likely, is besides this, I'm going to lock that back, flip it around, okay, is the battery compartment, which is in the grip right here, which is probably one of the easiest things to dismantle. And you can check my other videos. It's in a grip, as you know, that flips around like so. Okay, these springs are going to rust. Now, of course, you can get these new, and you can makeshift them to whatever you want. Okay, that's not too big of a deal. Okay, the long handle is going to make you dismantle that thing. Okay, this long handle here is going to make you dismantle this thing right here to get down and change those things deep inside. That's what's going to happen. So it's the battery compartment in the grip that you have to totally dismantle, which is probably the easiest to dismantle, okay? And you can check my other videos on this. But it's so long that you cannot, like you see in some of my other videos, just, you know, take a diamond file, stick it down in there and pull the rust off, which is generally going to be rusted because people back then, really in the day, did not take care of these cameras. Okay? So really, here's the shaft for the shutter button. You see I had to pull that out. And it gets stuck. And it's going to get stuck after so many decades like that, right? The shutter button is simply this. And it was lubricated all the way around here. You can see where some of the lubrication is still on there like that, and a clamp here. This piece went on like that, slid right into there, and that's how basically how it operated. Okay, it really was connected to some other parts, and it went on like so. Okay, you would simply press the shutter button. What happened now is it's just gotten the lubrication inside stuck, up inside there, up inside this shaft. The lubrication is stuck up inside there, and it's gotten gooey. It's all gonna have to be cleaned out. This is what you're gonna be paying for. Okay, so since you slide this, when you press the shutter button like so, okay, it's going to press basically here where my finger is, and now my pencil eraser, and that's the action. So you've got all this other unwanted stuff for sound that you don't need today. If you shoot digital, you're going to find this camera very heavy. I have some on my videos, and I have in particular one how you take some stuff out of it to make it a bit lighter. But if you want to get into vintage movie cameras, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be heavy. All right. This is what you're going to be looking at. Now, with all this stuff in here, the dismantling is going to be the price. So the best thing I can suggest to you to do as a film student is to go to one of these sites that have overhauled and CLA'd freshly new Super 8 cameras that guarantee the camera has been serviced and ready to go. Go to a reputable site. That is the thing to do, instead of going back and forth on a popular selling market that we know what the name is usually, okay, and haggling with the seller, and they don't want to send you any videos, any photos. Just go and pay the money for one that's already serviced, instead of you yourself buying a camera that may not even be able to be repaired to begin with. You know, you don't know. Go ahead and buy one from the professionals. It's already serviced. They know it can be repaired. It's repaired and ready to go for you. That is the way to go. All right. Paul Morbid here. Got a message coming up. And that's it. The Canon 514XL-S. In my opinion, again, avoid it. Definitely so. Unless you get one that's fully serviced, the gears are changed, and it's totally CLA'd or overhauled. Alright, that's the thing to do. Those of you who have one that's working but never had any problems, I applaud you, I salute you, and congratulations. Alright, this is just my opinion. Okay? And remember, film students and vintage movie camera enthusiasts alike, for the 514XL-S Canon, the choice is yours, but it does have a very poor reputation. You're going to get it repaired, it can be very, very expensive for you. All right? do subscribe for more videos like this one. Later.